And now to a presidential candidate who's decided to skip the Tonight Show and appear first right here on Today. He's the Reform Party splinter candidate, and he comes straight out of the pages of the Doonesbury comic strip. Former Ambassador Duke was scheduled for an exclusive interview in our studios, but his campaign van has broken down on the New Jersey Turnpike. However, we've managed to get a camera to him roadside. Mr. Ambassador, can you hear me, sir?
No, I'm not taking another breathalyzer test. That's the fourth one this morning. Hi, Katie. Hey.
Good morning, Mr. Ambassador. Thanks so much for joining us.
Well, almost joining you. We had a little problem out here. My son, Earl, 14 years old, driving, did a U-turn on the Jersey Turnpike at a Dunkin' Donuts, and we flipped that sucker like a turtle.
Well, hopefully, as Len Berman would say here on this program, nobody got hurt. Is everybody okay?
Oh, everybody's fine. They got, there's a very beefy little state trooper over there that has my son in handcuffs, plastic cuffs right now, but everything's fine.
Oh, my gosh. Well, you may need to get to him, so let me move it along. You know, a lot of people have heard of you, as I mentioned, from Doonesbury, but many Americans up to this moment have not heard of the Duke 2000 campaign. Tell me why you are running for president.
You know, Katie, I want to shake things up in Washington. I want to bring dignity back to the Oval Office, or failing that, good hygiene and a lot of disinfectant. You know, I mean, I would steam clean the sofa cushions if you know what I'm talking about. Well, I want to be the toupee that covers up the bald spots of America.
What exactly?
You're saying something?
Yeah, I was going to say, what exactly is your political philosophy, though, Mr. Ambassador?
Well, I call it compassionate fascism. Let me give you an example of that. Public education in America is bloated and inefficient. I'd streamline it. I'd hire one teacher for each subject, give them their own cable channel, and let the kids watch from home. You know, we want our kids to get a good education, sure, but we also want someone home if a package comes. So it's a win-win. Let the kids get their education from an institution they actually respect. That's just good thinking.
Meanwhile, I was actually very impressed when I reviewed your CV, as they say. You have quite a colorful past. You really need a few hours to mention everything that you've done in your life, but just to list a few accomplishments: you were a writer for Rolling Stone, you were governor of American Samoa, you were also an ambassador to China. That's why I'm calling you respectfully, Mr. Ambassador. You were a lobbyist for the NIA. You applied for jobs as head of Yale and as president of ABC News before becoming general manager of the Washington Redskins. And I should mention you've got experience in healthcare. You moved to Haiti and you opened up the Baby Doc College of Offshore Medicine. But tell me, why do these things qualify you to be president of the United States?
Well, Katie, you certainly did your homework there. I have to admit my bio, is a little incomplete. There's a lot of stuff that I don't even know. So I've got some tattoos I can't explain, for instance. I'm a little shaky on part of my past. I thought that the media would jump in there and pick up the ball and flesh out my story, and they haven't. So I think it's really because I've got new ideas, new approaches to the problems of today.
Maybe you're a little shaky on your past, Mr. Ambassador, because of your experience as a drug dealer. I know you did that for a while as well.
Well, let me just say this about that. You know, when Bush says he may or may not have taken, drugs or something, that's just a load. When I say I may or may not have taken drugs, well, that's legitimate ambiguity because I genuinely don't recall. So, I think that's the whole point of drugs anyway. But, yeah, I have that past. But let's talk about the future, Katie. That's what I want to talk about here.
Okay, let's, because I'm interested in your running mate. You've announced that your running mate is Kathie Lee Gifford. Why?
Well, hey. She has command performance, command presence, and hey, she took over your show last week, right? You've seen her in action. She knows how to be second banana. She's done that for years. She's tough enough to run a string of sweatshops, and she's perky. Now that's key. We haven't had a perky Veep since you got to go all the way back to Dan Quayle for that.
Also, I was very interested. Excuse me for interrupting, but that Martha Stewart you decided would be your Secretary of Housing.
Absolutely. I think she'd be a wonderful thing. We're helping like the homeless to learn crafts and how to decorate things. I think she could be a great asset there. I also would put the rest of the cabinets up on eBay for auction.
Oh, I see. That's an interesting concept. Meanwhile, can you describe your tax policy for us this morning?
Well, you know, there was the talk of the flat tax. I'm for the fat tax. Now, what I would do is create a tax code to create some serious disincentives for the weight challenge. You know, there's serious social costs for obesity and the public transportation crisis. I'm talking about the seat spillover is out of control. So what I would do is tax on a prorated basis by weight. So the truly heavy will literally start pulling their own weight. And there's a truck that just went by there. That truck has a little sign on the back of it that says, I pay $5,000 in taxes. All right, well, that's what I do. I put on the backside of people's, you know, their fannies, right there. I pay $5,000 in taxes. People would, in a mall, would say, hey, back up, Jack. Give them room. They're carrying their load.
Well, you certainly have some novel ideas, Mr. Ambassador. And finally, I understand that you follow the polls, as does everyone. We seem to be poll obsessed right now. And you recently discovered you have 0% of the vote. So I guess a vote for you is a vote for no one, or what's going on there?
Well, you know, we're holding rock steady at 0, but you got to remember the margin of error is plus or minus 4%. So we may well be ahead of Nader and maybe a spoiler. And I think Nader's clearly tapped into a deep, idealistic yearning in America to cast a meaningless vote. Well, heck, I'm a lot more meaningless than he is. You want to throw your vote away? Hey, I'm your man. Come to Papa.
All right. Ambassador Duke, sir, thank you very much for talking with us this morning. Best of luck with your overturn campaign van.
Well, thank you. I think we'll get it right. Call AAA for us, would you?
Yeah, I'll give them a call.
That, Katie.
I'm a member.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.